Mr. President.
The senator from Oklahoma.
Mr. President, I'd ask for the ability to be able to have unanimous consent to have a colloquy with the Chairman Isaacson.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I do want to thank Chairman Isaacson for the work that he's done on this. It's been a long road to be able to work through on reforming the VA. The VA is exceptionally complicated. There are a lot of interests that are engaged with this. He's heard a lot of voices from all over the country and all over this town to be able to help resolve some of the issues and bring them together. This is exceptionally important, though, for our veterans, especially for our veterans that live in rural areas very far from health care. So Section 101 of this bill requires the VA to give access to community care for a veteran or veterans referring, when a veteran or veterans referring clinician agree that furnishing care or services in the community would be in the best interest of the veteran after considering certain criteria, and this is very important in it. Things like the distance that they have to travel, the nature of the care that's required, the frequency of the care, so they don't have to travel back and forth so often long distances, the timeliness of available appointments, whether the covered veteran faces an unusual or excessive burden, includes the family and includes the veteran. So in the conversation that's happening, suddenly it is not just a clinician making a decision. The veterans at the table and their family are brought into consideration. The reason this is important is not just for so many veterans that have to travel long distances, it's even for veterans that live close. And Mr. Chairman, you and I have spoken on this briefly before, but I have a veteran in my state that was at the Muskogee facility who was getting great care, and I stopped by to be able to visit veterans in the Muskogee facility, just went room to room visiting with people, checking on them in their care. I asked how he was doing, and he said, great nurses, great doctors, has really done well. My next question was this your first time to be in this facility? He said, well, no, kind of. I had cancer treatments a couple of years ago, but they couldn't do it here in my town. They sent me to Seattle to get my cancer treatments. To which I said, did your family get to go? And he said, no, sir, they couldn't go. So that was the best facility. He said, I got good care there, but I went a long way and spent months and months away from my family getting chemo, radiation, and surgery, and then follow-up. He would have loved to have done that at any number of cancer facilities in Oklahoma. In fact, in Oklahoma City, there's a National Cancer Institute. One of the top 2% of all the cancer hospitals in the country is right down the road. The question is, once this bill passes and in future situations, when veterans are facing great care needs for specialties like cancer and other issues like that, will this be a situation where veterans will continue to be sent across the country away from their families for care because that's easiest on VA, or will their family members and the frequency of visit be brought to bear on that to be able to make the decision that maybe they could get that great care locally?
I want to thank the distinguished senator from Oklahoma, and tell him the story of his veteran from Muskogee led us to the way we wrote a lot of the provisions in Section 101. The comfort and ease and accessibility of the veteran is equally important to every other consideration that'll go in. That veteran who was sent to Seattle before would not be able to get treatment in Oklahoma City or in Muskogee or wherever else closer to home. It was more convenient, as long as it's in the best interest of that patient and the disease they had. So specifically, it says, or a veteran and the veteran's referring clinician agreed that the furnishing care or services in the community would be in the best medical interest of the veteran after considering criteria including, and then all those criteria. So every personal criteria as well as medical ones considered. So that would never happen again if we're good today and adopt the VA Mission Act. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention and hope it never happens again in Oklahoma or anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere else. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for that clarification on this. We look forward to doing what's in the best interest of the veterans and the veterans' care, not what's necessarily in the simplest thing for VA, but what's in the best care for that veteran and for their veteran's family. And I appreciate all the great folks of the VA that do serve our veterans so faithfully every day, and we'll continue to be able to give them what they need to be able to do that, but also help our veterans know that they're going to be taken care of in the best possible way. Mr. Chairman, thank you, and with that, I yield back.